It's a much calmer scene this evening in Great Falls after an explosion and fire at the Calumet Refinery.
Emergency crews were called around 1:15 this afternoon, and thankfully tonight there have been no reports of injuries, according to our reporters on scene. Now, the emergency responders worked for a couple of hours to put out 2 fires at the refinery following that explosion. The Montana Department of Transportation reported all roads within a half-mile radius of the refinery were blocked during the incident. Roads
were closed after emergency crews responded to that explosion, rerouting traffic. Sacagawea Elementary School and North Middle School were put under a shelter in place, and that was lifted about an hour later. Businesses in close proximity to the refinery were evacuated, including the Montana Club and the Mountain View Co-op stores, as well as the Great Falls Animal Shelter.
Again, thankfully, no injuries were reported. Calumet Montana Refining did release a statement around 2:40 this afternoon saying all plant personnel have been accounted for. And they went on to say the cause of the incident is under investigation. Calumet's top priority is the safety of plant staff and the community. Calumet says they'll provide updates as they become available.
MTN's Joe Huizinga has been on scene all afternoon watching this situation unfold.
He joins us live now from just down the hill on the Old Havre Highway. And Joe, what did you see and experience this afternoon?
Yeah, at the time of the initial blast, I was actually a few miles north of town, and I could immediately see a large plume of smoke over the city. So when I got into town here, I went down to the Montana Club just across the street from the refinery there. And when I arrived on scene, police already had the intersection shut down, and I was actually close enough at the time that I could feel droplets of water coming off from the firefighters fighting the fire at the refinery. Now, at that point, police started to evacuate the Montana Club, and when patrons came out, they told me that they heard the blast and felt the building shake, and then they saw flames shooting up from the refinery. Now, after that, I was pushed back to where we're standing now, and even up here at HCL Equipment, employees say they were able to feel the blast.
I was talking to my employees about jobs we were doing, and we heard a loud boom, and my front door, my office door, opened and closed, and my dog started barking. So I went out and I was looking. I thought somebody hit my building with a car, but it wasn't. I seen the smoke and the fire coming from the refinery, and I was like, oh my God, the refinery's exploded. I was terrified because, I mean, I know what they make.
Yeah, and employees also say that after the blast, they had ash falling up here. I've got a little bit of it that was still sitting up here in the snow. That gives you an idea of the intensity of that initial blast. But luckily, as we know, no one was hurt, and things could have been a lot worse. In Great Falls, Joe Huizinga, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. Again, it is under investigation what caused that initial explosion. Again, people all around the area felt the shake. Some saw the flames.
MTN's Elizabeth Transu joins us now live in the studio. And Elizabeth, you spoke with a man who works just across the street from the refinery.
Yeah, Shannon and Tim, Ryan Johansson has worked at Mountain View Co-op for 9 months, and he says he never imagined something like this would happen. He shot this video moments after the explosion, just as they were being evacuated, and like many other witnesses, Johansson describes this explosion as loud. When he heard the boom, Johansson looked up, saw the flames, and immediately dialed 911. He says he feared for his life and was worried about what could still happen.
It felt like there was an earthquake in the building, and the windows were rattling and stuff, and I looked up and there was like flames probably 80 feet in the air. Definitely scary, yeah. It scared me. I mean, that's a pretty close call. Could have been a lot worse with the 2 gas stations, you know, like I'm just glad that nobody got hurt.
At this time, both Mountain View co-ops are reopened. They were back up and running around 4. Sending it back to you, Shannon and Tim.
The explosion, fire, and emergency response closed roads all around the refinery this afternoon. The Montana Department of Transportation reported all roads within a half-mile radius of the refinery were blocked during the incident, and all roads are open this evening. Traffic is back to flowing normally. And Great Falls Police Department did report this afternoon that air quality experts determined the air to be safe in the vicinity of the refinery. Again, the cause of that initial explosion is under investigation. Of course, we'll continue to update you as we get more information on air and online.